Hey guys, it is Cthulthu here, and I felt like making another video. I felt like showing you what I actually do on a daily basis. Now, I don't mean just my dailies, but what I actually do most times with my day. Now, I have got this week off, so this really represents what I would do during a week off or during a weekend potentially. But what I also wanted to show you is how much I'm making on a daily basis as well, and I'm not doing anything special. I'm not doing lots and lots of Slayer tasks. I'm not doing something that will make me money purposely, like one of those 2 or 3 million GP per hour methods that might exist. I don't know, because I don't know of any of them. I just wanted to show you what I do to make money, but also just what I do on a daily basis. And so what I thought would be a good start to the video is actually showing you how much I'm worth. So I've had this price check thing, or this wealth evaluator now, since they made it something that you could just buy out and keep, and also they fixed it as well. So I can tell you what my value is, and there you go. So 3,054,785,441. It's mainly the last 6 digits that the last 9 digits that we'll be paying attention to, of course. So yeah, let's see how much I can make in a day. Also take into account, again, this is going to be a normal day for me. I'm not going to overplay RuneScape. I am going to do other things. I'm also going to play other games. I'm really enjoying Heroes of the Storm right now. Might play a little bit of League of Legends as well. Maybe a bit of story mode on Grand Theft Auto 5. So I will be doing other things. It won't be a full day. It's just, again, it's a normal day for me. So yeah, I'll show you clips as I go through that day, and we'll see how much I can make, and also we'll just give you an idea of what I do nowadays. Anyway, since I stopped slaying so much. So here we go, guys. Let's see what happens. Okay, guys. So this is the way that I start my day, and in fact, this is pretty much the way that I start every time I log into RuneScape, as long as it's possible, and that's by doing a farming run. So right now I'm farming land dimes. Probably at lowest I get about 50 of these per trip, and that's including usually one herb being dead, because I just don't have time to be logging and doing remote farming and making sure that none are diseased, basically. Even though it's so easy, it's just about the time and having that time. And obviously sometimes you just forget, or you're just doing something else that doesn't then allow for you to be doing something like remote farming. For example, I don't know, going to God Wars or something like that. Last thing you got to do is take a few runes so that you can cast the spell. But yes, that's how I'll start my day, by doing some lantern farming. Then what I will also do with my farming, at least the first time I'm farming for the day, is I will also go and get my mushrooms, and I will get my coconuts and my spines, and also later in the day I will be getting broad arrows at the same time. So what I'll do is I'll go to Canifis to get my mushrooms, but on the way I'll go to the Slayer Master, get 3k broad bolts from him, and I do that on a daily basis because it takes a whole day for the shop to refresh its 3k limit. And then I'll also go to the Elfin area to get some more mushrooms, and then I'll go to Tavali so that I can get the other 3k broad arrows I can get from the Slayer Master there, and then I can go to the bank in order to prepare myself for getting coconuts and spines. So that is basically the way that I start my day, and that's something that I'll try and do as often as possible. Usually I can do coconuts and spines twice a day. I could probably stretch it 3 times a day if I was to play for a 13-14 hour period, but it's just not something I bother with, because I don't care if the timing's right or not. I won't bother to do it. Also on a working day, I will just do it whenever. It doesn't have to necessarily be when I actually do my herb run. I might feel as if there's something more important to do, like, for example, as I was saying, the Traherne hour. I might decide to do the Traherne hour if that's active at the time. So I'll do the herb run, and then I'll do Traherne hour, and then I'll go back to getting cactus and spines, and that's because I know that I'll only be able to do it once a day on a working day. The other thing, obviously, the mushrooms, I try and do that 3 times a day, and that's, it's got a shorter respawn time, so or rather growth time, so that's something that I can do 3 times a day at very least, again, if not more, but I'm not 100% certain if I could do a 4th. I don't think I've ever tried to do a 4th. So that's how I start my day, guys. Let's see what's next. Okay, guys, so after the farming run, I am now doing my daily ritual. So most of this is in no certain order, but then you'll notice that some of it is connected together. So there's the treasure hunter. Firstly, just use whatever goes you have. Never say no to the extra experience and the extra money. Straight after dragon, motherload more for a free item there as well. Hopefully a decent one, but you never really know what you're going to get. Unfortunately, I made the mistake of actually using my last strange rocks and resetting the whole system, so now I'm probably going to just get a ton of strange rocks from the motherload more, which is annoying. Unless, of course, I go and get them myself, which I'm just not going to do. After that, red sandstone, 75 a day, so 375k. I get the additional 25 by having done a certain amount of desert tasks, if you weren't aware. And this is where the connection starts to come. So as soon as I got the 25 red sandstone from the desert, I will then go to the Elven City, because there's a machine there where you can then turn it into some kind of material that then allows you to turn it into potion flasks. And the reason I don't go to Uglog, I go to the Elven City, is because there's a fairy ring very close to where the machine is. So once I've turned it into whatever the material is for the potion flasks, I will then prepare myself to go rune crafting. So I'll basically get my Wicked Hood. I will fill myself up with as many pure essence as I can, except for one. I'll leave one slot empty for an item I'm going to then use the fairy rings to get. So using fairy rings, I'll then go back into the desert. I will speak to the wise old man right next to the Calphite lair. I will get 40 free potato cactus, again as a result of having done a certain amount of desert tasks. Again, look it up if you need to know how many you need to do, but it's well worth doing for 40 free potato cactus every single day. And yes, continuing the connection, so I've got my Wicked Hood on. I will then teleport to the Nature Altar. Could be the Astral Altar, depends which is worth more, which rune is worth more, but it has to be one of those two because I get double runes from either one. And I also use my runes as well, the runes option in the Wicked Hood. So firstly, the Wicked Hood gives me 175 essence as a result of doing a certain amount of rune span and getting all the wicked robes, etc. And then, yeah, using the runes, I get fire runes, so I get 500 of those. It's the best way to go. I'm not going to explain it. You can work it out yourself. Straight after that, again, connected, I will use my Wicked Hood to then go to Viswax's place. To do that, I use a forum thread on the RuneScape official forums to know what to get for my first rune, what to get. Well, 3 options to what to get as the second rune, and then the third rune is something you work out yourself. So if you need help understanding Viswax or just knowing what runes to select and which ones are going to make you the most money, then go on to that thread. You just have to look it up on the RuneScaper forums, just type in Viswax, whatever it's called. Right then, straight after that, I don't think I've got anywhere else to go now, so I will basically go wherever I want, and so this is where, again, it could just vary depending on what you feel like, but I will go divine locations. Nowadays I don't really care what I'm getting as long as there's some profit to it. More importantly to me is just getting it done as soon as possible and not wasting time loitering, waiting for the right thing to come up. Also, I certainly won't create my own nodes because I just don't want to waste my own resources doing that, otherwise what's the point? If it's about experience, it makes sense to make your own, but if that's not what you're after, then it's just a waste of time in my opinion to make those divine locations. I'll just leech off other people that make them or get them off the treasure hunter thing. So yeah, once that's done, that's money in the bank. And is that everything? I did it in quite good time this time. So yeah, there you go. On to the next scene. Right then, so moving on. Yeah, so what you've seen so far is what I'll do on a daily basis, and it's all focused towards money. But that's the end of that now, and now we're going into more unique activity. So these are not necessarily things I'm doing on a daily basis. You know, it maybe has a common theme, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it's the same thing. So, I mean, basically, to summarise, in fact, I'll summarise it in a bit. So firstly, let's start with dungeoneering. So dungeoneering is not something that I do at all, and the only reason I'm doing it today is because I'm doing the whole daily task thing for the month of May. I want to get into the resource dungeon as soon as possible, and so yeah, today I did the 4th of the 5 skilling ones, which was doing a level 6 complexity dungeon. So I did a small dungeon, so it only took me a few minutes to do, and I got 54k experience for it. You'll see right at the end it says 27k, but it was 54k. because I quickly went to the Elven City to get a Dungeoneering card, and the Dungeoneering card was double experience. I never noticed how it worked, but apparently the way it works is that it says that you get 27k experience, but when you leave the dungeon you can see that you're getting 54k experience if you've got any skill experience trackers available, and I have an overall one available, so yeah, 54k. So that was that. And yeah, so as I was trying to refer to before, so the common theme is just Reaper tasks. I like to make sure I do a Reaper task every day, if not 2 in one day, where I then get a rest day on another day, if I just don't feel like doing it that particular day. So today was actually one of those days where I did 2. So I did the one from the day before, which I did start. I had to kill 8 Araxors in total, killed 3 the day before, so I had to kill 5 today, which you'll see the drops for. And yeah, so just Reaper tasks as often as possible, because I like to get the helix, the uncut helix, which is it's still a fair bit of money, so it's worth doing for the uncut helix, even though I won't use it. I'll just be selling it. So yeah, on this occasion, Araxor, and yeah, that's all there is to say about that, isn't there? So, I mean, if I haven't alluded to it already, you will see a second task, Reaper task today as well, given that the Araxor was for the one for the day before. So we'll get onto that at some stage today. But yeah, let's see what's next. Okay, guys, so after Araxor, I'm now mining Runite ore, because it's a harmonized hour. It's the Traherne hour in the Elf City. So basically the rune ore there occasionally turns into harmonized ore, which basically makes it an infinite resource for rune ore, and it happens with the Addy, the Myth, and the Coal as well. It's just about finding the right world where that particular ore has harmonized, and so I'm part of a group called Harmonized Ore. The CC I'm in right now is just one of the overflow, so Harmonized Ore 1. And you can find a video that I made about it before, but basically it's great money. It's between at least 1.5 to 2 million per hour, depending on how good the hour is for finding harmonized ore, which the CC is there to effectively help you scout for the ores and make it a better hour. And yeah, and also just to add on to this, the fact that that I've been doing herb runs in between, these things as well. So so the money's now starting to rack up from all of this as well. Right then, guys, so I'm getting to the end of the day now. I'm starting to feel a bit tired. I've been doing a lot of things in between playing RuneScape, like playing Heroes of the Storm. And so we are really now getting to the end of the video. So like I said before, today was one of those days where I had to do, well, I didn't have to do, but I had to do the Reaper task from the day before, and so it was my choice whether I wanted to do the Reaper task for today as well. And I thought, well, hey, why not? I've got the time, and plus it's QBD, which is nice. I did have to cancel 2 tasks before I got this one. The first one was Giant Mole, and I'm like, no way, too noobish. The second one was KBD. Got rid of it for the exact same reason. Fortunately, that means I only get 75% points. And probably experience. I'm not really sure how the experience works. I've never really paid attention, and I don't really care either. But yeah, so it's one of those 75% tasks, and but that's fine. At least it's something that I will actually enjoy doing and want to do, and want to get a pet from as well, if I can get a pet. But I got about 14, 15, 16 of these to kill. Didn't really check, and yeah. That's all there is to say about QBD. Hopefully I'll get a Visage or a couple of good items, but generally speaking, you get decent money here anyway, so I don't really care what I get, as long as I don't die, as long as they're all relatively quick kills as well, as long as nothing out of the ordinary happens, then I'll be happy to dispatch this KBD in hopefully about 30 to 35 minutes if they're all 2 minutes each. So yeah, well, hopefully 32 minutes, I guess, if I've got to kill 16. And then that should be the end of the day. So so yeah, if I'm going to make any more profit, this is going to be the last thing now. Hey guys, it is Cthulthu here. So we're finally at the end of the video. I don't know why I feel the need to make it seem as if I'm starting a video, but yeah, so we're at the end now. It's coming up to 1 o'clock in the morning for me, though in the game it says that it's coming up to midnight. That's because I'm on British Summer Time, whereas the game time is on GMT +0, and it's basically been around 12 hours, if not maybe more, maybe actually 13 hours of game time. Not that I've actually been on there that amount of time solid. I even played probably a good 2-3 hours of Heroes of the Storm. So I've been basically playing all day, but just not RuneScape all day. And anyway, you saw exactly what I did. Apart from what you saw, the only other things that I did was just repeat what I was doing. So, for example, farming runs was repeated a few times, because obviously you can do that quite often within a day's allowance. And yeah, it's good money, so there's no reason not to make it something that you religiously do. Same goes for Harm Door. I can't remember how many times I did it today, but you know that can happen multiple times a day. Hopefully it'll be in the next 16 minutes or so. So I will have to finish this video fairly quickly so I can be ready for that if it happens. The only thing that I really wanted to do, but I kept forgetting to do, is getting the resource aura by finishing one of my just daily tasks for this whole month of May thing. Because I know that would have been spending about 5 minutes to get about 200k worth of resources, and it's a shame I couldn't get that. But hey, this is what we're finally ending on. I almost completely forgot to show you, but there you go. So 3,072,610,000. Yeah, there you go. So an 18 million gain. It's not surprising me in the slightest, because the last couple of days I've been gaining 20 mil per day. And hey, if you like this video, then I may try and do it one more time, but this time try and break it down to see where this money's actually coming from, because frankly, I mean, I've shown you what I do, I know what I've done, and yet it blows my mind that I've made 18 mil somehow. And as far as I know, there's been no grand exchange updates today, so you know, it just goes to show. It's not like I had any amazing drops. One thing I didn't show you was a Dragon Visage drop, but you know, that's as good as it got for me today. So there you go, 18 million from a day's work. And yeah, I guess that's everything. So let me know if you do want me to break it down by doing this again, but actually working out how much I'm getting from doing all these little things in segments. Probably be a pretty long video, but yeah, if that's something you want to see, let me know. Otherwise, thanks for watching, guys. Until next time, see you around.